Hey folks, Michael Mann with the Executive Protection Association of Middle Tennessee, and we're going to talk about soft skills in executive protection. Today's topic is going to be de-escalation, right? De-escalation is a soft skill or an interpersonal skill. And believe it or not, it's one of the skills that can make or break our career in executive protection. So what is de-escalation and what does it mean? Well, it's just our ability to manage conflict. That's it. And conflict normally is three stages. We're going to talk about two stages here, very specifically anxiety, or anxiety being something, noticeable change in behavior based on something that we do or we say. So it makes somebody easy or uneasy, I'm sorry. And then it could be emotional confrontation, could be the next stage, or when someone gets upset and they psychologically attempt to intimidate us, or they start to become verbally sometimes abusive, or maybe they just become non-compliant. And so we're going to talk about those two stages very specifically. Now, when we talk about managing conflict in executive protection, most of us think about dealing with an aggressive person that may be angry toward our principal or show anger toward our principal, or maybe dealing with a suspicious person or person of interest, maybe walking around the residence at night if we're an RSA or a residential security agent. We can deal, or we could have to deal or manage conflict every day administratively around the principal. Maybe there's a protective measure that they don't like. And as we're in the vehicle with the principal, they let us know that, and we can see anxiety and we have to deal with it or manage it. Maybe it's with the C-suite. Maybe they're upset about something that was said in the car with the principal, and the principal has complained to them. And as a detail leader, we're having to deal with that issue. Or maybe it's our ability to deal with a security detail member that's unhappy about something. Maybe they want a pay raise. Maybe they've gone to additional training. They believe that they shouldn't be a residential security agent and they should be moved to the close protection team, and we don't see it that way, and then we have to deal with that. So there's a number of ways that we have to manage conflict very differently than as we would normally think about this in de-escalation or in close protection. So the first step in de-escalation is our ability to isolate. And what that means is we're going to separate the problem from the person. So if I'm dealing with someone that is upset, if it's the principal, it's a security team member, it's somebody in the C-suite, remember, I want to isolate or separate the problem from the person so we can focus on the issue itself. We are there to solve a problem. That is a big part of personal protection. In this case, maybe this is an administrative issue, but we still want to separate these issues, or separate the problem from the person, because we do want to focus on this issue and we want to be able to move past this so we can start to focus on the issue at hand, which is the physical protection of the principal. And also remember that conflict most of the time is based on either past experience or it's an expectation that has not been met. So someone expected something and that expectation didn't happen. A lot of times that is not our issue, but now we are dealing with it. So we separate these issues to focus on the problem. The next stage is situational awareness, or the next element of this. And one is, when we talk about situational awareness, we're talking about expectations. Now, again, this is not maybe dealing with a person of interest, or maybe a suspicious person in a crowd that may be trying to get too close to the principal. Look, maybe we're walking into a meeting on Monday morning that we have with the C-suite based on things that have happened over the last 7 days. So we're discussing our ability to protect, our ability to make the principal feel comfortable, our ability to show return on investment. And every Monday, normally, because we're scoring an A+ in all of the, of all the elements I just mentioned, and everybody's happy normally, right? Maybe it's just me and the COO that meet every Monday. Well, this Monday I'll walk in, and my expectation is to see the COO, and it's going to take 15 minutes. I'm going to walk out. And as I walk in the room, I see the CEO is not happy. He's got a frown on his face. And there are more people in the room than normal. Maybe the HR manager's in the room. Maybe the facilities manager from the principal's workplace is there. That lets me know, right? My expectation was, hey, COO by myself, he's going to be happy. That's not what happened. And so now I need to be able, or be ready to deal with some sort of conflict, because I see that expectations are different. Something is different. There's an anomaly. And then we look at our surroundings. Normally, when we talk about surroundings and situational awareness, we're looking for other bad guys. In this case, we're thinking about, based on what I say or what I do or how I solve this problem, who in the room can hurt me? Who can hurt me in the room financially? Who can hurt me in the room from the professional standpoint, so my career. So this is going to be based on, be really careful about what we do and what we say, and try to manage conflict the best way that we can, because there may be somebody in there that could take this or spin this another way, and they could hurt us professionally, again, or financially. And then next is nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is 90% of all communication. And so when we are talking to someone, as we're trying to manage conflict, whether that's the COO or somebody else in the C-suite, the principal, that detail leader, we need to be careful about eye communication. Okay. I remember growing up, my dad was, he was a police officer, retired policeman. He was a Marine Corps combat veteran. I followed in his footsteps, and I always listened to what he told me most of the time when I was younger. But he told me when I would talk to people, like during job interviews, and I would talk to my supervisors, anytime I was having an important, conversation, to maintain eye communication at all times. Well, that's great, but in de-escalation, we need to monitor what that eye communication looks like. And what I mean is, look, if I'm talking to somebody and we're trying to manage conflict, maybe my eye communication, maybe that I maintain that about 60% of the time as I'm talking, because I don't want to appear to be aggressive. I want to be supportive. And if they're talking to me because I want them to understand I'm listening and that I'm trying to solve their problem, then maybe that eye communication, maybe that percentage goes up to about 90%, because again, I want them to know that I'm listening and I'm there to solve the problem, because we are trying to de-escalate. Facial expressions. We always need to be careful about our facial expressions. No matter what we think about what the person's saying, especially as a protection professional, we need to be very careful about our emotions and how they show up on our face. And then again, our tone of voice. Most of us are type A personalities. We talk at a higher level than most folks because we want to be assertive, but we always want to be supportive, especially in de-escalation, and especially if we're dealing with somebody that's anxious. And so we need to watch our tone of voice. Okay, so those are the basics of de-escalation that we can use every day as a soft skill. If you have any questions, you can always get us at contact@michaelmannsecurityservices.com, or you can give us a call at 615-956-3912. And hey, I can't wait to see you in our next short course on interpersonal skills or soft skills in executive protection. And remember, it's about prevention, not response.